management. Each and every HSE professional must know the environmental waste management and it's how to collect, segregate, store and dispose the waste. Actually, for the ISO 14001 and all the standards explain about the and it elaborates and you can say it expects waste needs to be minimized. The waste is always a waste. The waste responsibilities always with the companies and individuals. If a person making something waste, then the waste is responsible for that person only. When you are making some waste, you have to find the way to properly dispose. You have to find the way to properly and professional way of approaching and disposing the waste. The same thing is applicable for all type of industries. When you are generating waste, you are the responsible for that waste and it's not be environmentally polluted. And you have to take own responsibility for that waste because you are creating a waste. We can classify three types of waste for industries. There are a lot of types are there. That the major types what I'm talking. Number one, biodegradable waste. That is food waste and a domestic waste. Plastic, it's not a biodegradable. It's all coming non-biodegradable waste, that is plastic. Biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste and hazardous waste. In that, liquid waste, the same biodegradable, non-biodegradable and hazardous waste. So, liquid waste, solid waste. So, how you are collecting in a professional way, how you are storing, segregating and storing, and how you are disposing. So, all the standards, especially ISO 14000, is expecting the companies has the proper addressing the waste, not only the standards but also legal compliance as per environmental departments. So these environmental departments, what they are expecting to minimize the waste. So, and also there are norms are there for industrial waste. You have to maintain zero waste in most of the industries. They have to make a zero waste, and also you have to be properly dispose the waste. That should be as per environmental, legal and legislations, compliances you have to follow, whichever countries it may be. So you have, being a safety professional, you must know these all the details. Environmental waste, how to contain, how to segregate, how to dispose the environmental waste. That is very, very important because the most of the time the safety officers, they have well aware about the safety knowledge, but the lack of the environmental knowledge leads to the regret position for them. So it's better, this is an awareness video. You can know the procedures and things how to handle the waste. So when you are having the biodegradable waste, you have to think about the minimize the waste, all kinds of waste in the resources itself. Whatever waste, but your thinking must be reduce the waste, minimize the waste, as reasonable as possible. For example, you have a big canteen, big, the accommodations, food handings are there, but you have to think about menus, how to reduce the waste. So menu itself, you can think about, instead of rice, you can think about something. Instead of some other more items, you can reduce the items and also give the more calories and nutritious food for the laborers and workers and staffs. It should be properly collected, whatever biodegradable waste within the industry, and then it should be properly collected by means of designated bins. So it should be there in a proper areas and bins mentioned as a green biodegradable. So in that only food waste and vegetable waste and plant waste, these all biodegradable waste. When it's come to the non-biodegradable plastics and all kinds of the plastic oriented materials, e-waste, it all comes under the non-biodegradable. So it should be properly collected as a red. You can mention as a non-biodegradable waste. Then you can collect it e-waste, whatever accessories, plastic. This one companies monitor and system-based waste, printer oriented, and then monitor oriented, system oriented, hardwares. These all somewhat hazardous waste. So you can categorize as a e-waste under the non-biodegradable. So the bread is always non-biodegradable. You can collect it, the plastics, and also be aware of it. You have to reduce the plastics as reasonable as possible. Instead of plastic drinking water, you can choose for the alternative thing like clay, some other items, or reusable metallic utensils. The same thing. So the plastics you have to collect it, and also e-waste also you have to collect it and label it every month. You have to put the name and label and keep it for a store. And if you have a facility for recycling, you can do it. If you don't have a facility for recycling purpose, and then send it for the recycling companies for plastics and e-waste. And you have to get the receipt for that. How much quantity for month you are sending, how much quantity, what are the materials you have, and then how frequently you are saying. You must have a memorandum of contract with the environmental companies, those who are taking your waste. So these you are labeling, segregating, storing in a place, and sending for the companies for recycling purpose. But your main motto is always you have to reduce the waste. You have some ideas how you reduced the waste. It also you have to elaborate the auditors in case auditing the companies. So biodegradable, non-biodegradable, and third one is hazardous. The hazardous waste, batteries, chemical waste, and all kinds of the hazardous material, chemical oriented, and then the harmful chemical oriented utensils and batteries and various oil waste. These all comes under the hazardous waste. So you have to make it this hazard waste in a separate. I am talking about solid waste. So you have to segregate this solid waste as a hazardous waste, the last point, and then you have to label it and send it for the environmental disposing companies. You have to make a contract and get the receipt for the every quantity what you are sending to the companies. That receipt and memorandum is must for the evaluation of legal and as per the standards. So these for solid waste. So when it's come to the liquid waste, the wastewater, the normal domestic wastewater you are sending to the concerned corporation or municipality, whatever. But when it's come to the chemical hazardous waste, it's a zero discharge. You should not be allowed to send it to the local drainages. So you have to send it to the your own treatment plants. So you must have, if a big industries, you must have a comprehensive effluent treatment plants. This domestic and hazardous waste, they can treat separately and mix it and use it for a gardening purposes. And also the biodegradable waste, big industries, they can take the biodegradable waste and make it as a manure and use it for the plants. This is called, we can call it as a zero discharge. The same thing, the hazardous waste also, you can put a effluent treatment plant and treat the water and use it for the plants. But the highly hazardous waste water, very minimal quantity, we can say 200 liters, 300 liters per month, or so in that case, you have to send it to the environmental disposing company with a contract. You must made a contract and saying that you made a contract, and then every month this much you are sending, they are properly disposing, they must give the receipt for that. So this is the way of the environmental waste, how the companies has to be proceed. So each and every waste you must be categorized, and initially you have to minimize as in the policy itself, because HSE policy itself says that you are continual improvement and reducing the pollutions and reducing the waste. The same thing you have to do for this waste. So when it comes to the environmental waste, biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste, hazardous waste. This biodegradable waste, in case of small industry, the only biodegradable means very, very small industry, you can send it to the corporation, municipality as per their terms and conditions. But in case big industry, you have to make it solid waste into the manure and use it for the plants. And also in case the domestic water means and has a effluent water more means, you can send it, you can make it a effluent plant and you can treat the water and use it for the plants. So hazardous waste means you can solid waste. You can collect it, label it, store it and send it to the environmental company for further process. Being a memorandum, you have to make it, get a receipt for that. So, and also when e-waste, when you are collecting computer spare parts, computer accessories, printer accessories, this all waste you should not simply dispose because it's a hazardous to the environment. So you have to collect it, label it and store it as an e-waste and send to the e-waste company and make a memorandum with them and give the receipt for that. So this is the waste procedure for legal and ISO standard as per we can say 14001 and other standards. It's mentioning that for global warming, climate change, carbon footprint, sustainability, ESG, for everything, this kind of environmental management as per the waste is required. You just note down and these things you can follow and you can have a guide this, and based on that you can have a receipt and categorization. These all will help you to make your career upliftment and also improve your company standards. We will see another live. Thank you.